All right, well, I'm going to show you guys how to do a simple XML to CSV conversion in BusinessWorks 6. Create a new application. And just a quick tour. On the left-hand side is your Project Explorer. In the middle right here is your design canvas. To the right are your palette libraries. The lower left is your File Explorer and deployment servers. And then on the bottom right are your property configurations and console help tabs for configuring the activity objects on the design canvas. All right, so first step, let's just create a timer so that we can kick off this process. And the next step is we want to read in an XML file. So we're just going to go to File and Read File. The file that we're going to read, we can use the browser magnifying glass. And this is the file customerorders.xml. And we can take a quick look at that file right now. Okay, and here's our XML file. It has customers. Customers has the type customer with some subfields. And also we have orders. So there's several different orders in here. After we read the file, we want to parse that XML. So I can come here and I can say XML, parse XML. Now I need to specify what is the format of the XML. A couple of ways that we can do this, though. The first and easiest way, though, is to grab the schema definition and drag that into the schema folder. Then we come over to the parse XML, go to the output editor, and we're going to browse for the root element and say, okay, now we have our customers and our orders. Alternatively, I can also do this another way. I can have my customer schema grab the root element, drag that onto the canvas, and say create parse XML activity and just wire it up. And so now my output editor is already defined. I just need to specify the XML string, which is the file content here. All right, so we have the parse XML. We want to take this XML and write it out to another file. So let's do a create file activity. I'll go ahead and type in where I want this file to reside. Okay. As I create the file, I need to go ahead and render the XML into CSV. Let's do another add activity. And we're going to go to the parse library. We're going to say render data. And these palette libraries, I could access them the same way over here on the right-hand side. I can pick out the render data. So I click on render data. I need to define a data format. And first create a shared resource. And now with this shared resource, I need to go in and define what the CSV file itself should look like. So let's go ahead and open up the data format. And here I could select a root element or create a new one. So I could create a new schema and manually define out each of the elements like so. Or if I already have the schema definition of what I want the CSV to look like, I can import that and use that object. So let me take this. Now I have a customer.xsd with a customer object, It has address, city, company name, country, first name, last name, so on. All right. After I render the data, the next step is then to write the data to a file. We're going to write this one to the same file that we just created. So when we look at the input configuration here, we're going to go to our create file activity, and part of the output was the file full path name. So we're going to click and drag that across. The next bit will also be the render data. So we want to drag that across the text content. All right, let's take a step back. The parse XML had multiple customers. In this render data, I'm going to set it up as a loop so that we can process each customer as a single iteration. All right. So as part of our iterate group, we need to specify what is the variable that we'll be iterating. So in our parse XML, I'm going to grab the customer, and we don't need this filter. We're just going to take all of the customers that are available. And when we're working in this iterate group, we're going to create an element called current customer. And now we define our render data mapping. We'll grab company name. Now for the first and last name, the contact name is both the first and the last name. So we need to do a little bit of string manipulation. We have the first part of a contact name is the first name. So we can do an activity, a substring function called substring before. And so we can look at the space as our identifier. For the last name, we're going to do a substring after. Same contact name and same after string, which will be a space. Let me just do the exercise of mapping the rest of the attributes here. If these attributes all had, these elements all had the same identical name, we could auto map and save some time. I'm just going to manually specify a value for these last two. All right, there you have it. We have set up a simple example project of converting an XML to CSV. And we can go ahead and look at the output by debugging the application. And there we have it. The application is executed successfully. I can look at the individual instance stepping along at looking at the output. For the parse XML, I can go to the output. I can see I have 4 customers, 22 orders. Then I have the iterate group where I take each one of those customers and write the data into a single CSV line. Go ahead and take a look at the actual output data. And there we have it. There's my CSV file. Thank you for watching.